Good day, Art of Fighters, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I reviewed any sprues, so we're going deep into a sprue review today of the Primaris Eliminators. Now I got this because I'm pretty keen on building a Vanguard force, finally. So this is the first thing I wanted to get because on paper they seem pretty cool. Also visually, they look awesome. I think there could be quite a lot I could do in terms of a kit bashing and a lot of parts that are going to be left over that I can use for other projects as well. So I'm going to see whether I'm correct about that by looking at what comes in the Primaris Eliminator sprue. Now, as always, this is a 10mm grid, so whatever I place against this grid, you can actually get a good impression of how big or small it is. So it is a pretty nice box. You've got the options on the back. It does show you a couple of options where you even have this, which is probably a bolt carbine, and this kind of binocular type thing. Yeah, there you go. It's a bolt carbine. So there are a whole bunch of options, which I'm actually very happy with, especially the pose with the two-hand on the bolt pistol. I know a lot of people are complaining that Space Marines don't have to stabilize their pistol grip, but it looks cool, and at the end of the day you are building plastic models and painting them because they look cool, so I have no complaints. So let's open up our package. Let's see what we have. So I assume that inside this we will have a stat line in addition to the sprues. Could be wrong. Okay, there we go. Got the bases, 14mm bases. Nothing else in the box. You got two sprues. Right, so each one of these frames comes with one torso and fair number of weapons. Wow, there are a lot more than I expected, because if you look at it in terms of things they can hold, each one of these sprues already comes with at least 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty good. Let's take a close look at what we have here. Now, in terms of paper, you do have a sheet of transfers, which are typically Ultramarines focused, but that will be fine. I will be doing this set in a homebrew army colors. Finally decided on what I want to do with my homebrew chapter, so that's coming in a future video. You've got your build instructions, and then you've got your stat line in English and assorted other languages, of course. And I'll leave the paper review and the gameplay stat line review to other reviewers. What I want to look at is the possibility of kit bashing these with other kits, and it does seem that I did have a brief look at this in other videos and in other images, that we can do head swaps. So we will be able to do head swaps for some of them. Eliminator Sergeant, here we will have the possibility of head swapping right there, and it does appear that his arms are cut off at the elbow. So now that his arms are cut off at the elbow, we will probably be able to swap out the arms for other things as well, or use his sniper sort of a spyglass and binocular arm for other things, which is not bad actually. That's binocular arm. So let's see. He does only have one left forearm bent at the elbow for his either the scope or the binoculars, but that's easy to achieve. You can grab parts like this. In fact, I think the normal multi-part Primaris Marines kit will have arms like that, so you can probably swap his hand holding the binoculars or scope onto one of those spare arms. So that's not bad. I think we'll be able to fool around with that. Let's have a look at the actual sprue. Suffice to say, even that the sprue with the other Eliminator will be able to do head swaps. But okay, so let's look at the Sergeant. This one's the Sergeant. So there's your binocular and your scope right there. Binocular and the scope. So I was a little bit wrong about the forearm bent at the elbow. It is integrated with the shoulder pad. So that's the piece that goes into the binocular and scope holding arm. That one. And you'll see that it's well, it's typically Primaris sized. We still will be able to swap this in with I think roughly the same kind of part that comes with the Primaris multi-part sprue, the Primaris intercessor sprue. So that'll fit. What we have aside from that is a fair number of weapon options. Now, you can build your Sergeant with the bolt sniper, a bolt carbine, or a las fusel, and then if he's armed with a bolt sniper and bolt carbine, he's not going to need his left arm, so you can have options there. Now, I'm pretty happy with this setup because I will be doing a nice head swap. I might be doing a left arm swap for the Sergeant. Very happy so far. It does appear that he will have some scenery that goes on his base as well. And for a close look of that scenery, here we have, there's some pillars in addition to a few tiles with spent shell casings on the floor and a bit more of a broken archway. And these are all quite nice pieces, if I do say so myself. And you don't necessarily have to use them, you can actually use them on other bases as well, which I'm very happy with. I will be building some nice heroic scenic bases with them. Moving on, the other Eliminators, so they are specifically different Eliminators with two different poses. So Eliminator 1, again, it does appear that his arms are separate somewhat. Well, this one, the left arm is probably not fully independent. So part 23 is there. It is actually similar to the intercessor arm. So I will need the left arm either integrated into the pistol or the long weapon. So I don't think I'll be able to be too creative with this. I'll still be able to perform a head swap, which is very nice, and that's the whole point in me wanting to get this sprue. So yes, in terms of kit bashing, you will be able to perform a head swap for the second Eliminator as well as the Sergeant. So let's look at the last Eliminator. Yep. So good news all around. Head swaps for Eliminators are possible. That will also leave you with a lot of very nice spare head sculpts, and you can see that we've got an assortment of sort of these Ghost Recon type head designs right there. So as I said, you will be able to perform head swaps, and it does come with quite an assortment of these nice goggled Ghost Recon, as I said, Ghost Recon style heads. So you've got a couple of them with hoods, some without, some with that nice comms antenna with the goggles up on his head. This is a particularly nice one, and I did see a couple more over here. So you'll see a few more here, some with the breather mask and some with the hood up. And this is just on 2 of these frames. So you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heads. More than enough for a box of 3 Eliminators. And then you've got 3 more here. So you've got 10 heads. And let's have a close look to see whether they are unique from each other. They do seem to be quite different. So it looks like we don't seem to have any repeated sculpts on the heads, which is actually quite amazing. And the fact that we bought a box of 3 Eliminators and got 10 heads is a pretty big deal to me. I mean, that's groundbreaking in terms of the parts that GW gives you. But I do suppose that Eliminators, they tend to be quite an expensive box for just 3 models in terms of plastic to dollar ratio. So, well, you can say that I'm just consoling myself, but I'm pretty happy with the number of weapons that come here. Because from my point of view, I am getting these sprues mainly to kit bash and build some cool looking models. So I'm actually satisfied. Now, aside from that, you do have these very nice cloaks with the buckles on the bottom. I really like this design. I'll probably have to come up with a nice camel pattern for the cloaks, and a lot of these sort of tactical pouches that come on the sprue as well. And I suppose that some of these are specific to whether or not you use a las fusel or a Eliminator bolt sniper, but you will be left over with a fair number of you will be left over with a fair number of pouches to mess around with at the end after building your Eliminators. So it's pretty good. Some of them come with slings. All in all, I'm actually pretty happy with this box set. Even though we only have 3 Eliminators, I think we'll be able to swap in their arms onto a couple of Vanguard Marines and pass them off as Eliminators too. I mean, you do have a fair number of Eliminator arms, and at the end of the day, it is the weapon that matters. I think the weapon will define the type of model that you're running. So if you are buying this box for Eliminators and trying to get as many as possible, I think you could probably get a good 6 Eliminators out of this if you have a couple of spare Space Marine torsos and just the torso lying around, because you'll have enough arms and heads to go around. So I thank you for walking through this journey with me. I encourage you to have a look at the links in the description below and have a look at the Patreon if you want to support this channel. And stay tuned for the sprue review for this box, the Corvus Cabal from Warcry, because clearly the Eliminator box is screaming to be kit bashed with Raven spotters for my snipers, and maybe even some Raven shaped skulls for the Eliminators. As always, thank you for watching and take care. Bye bye.